You're listening to the Mackay Safety Our Clients podcast, brought to you by 4PS Software and the Bullion Group. You can find out more about safety compliance and safety management and the implementation of systems, independent audits and incident investigations by going to mackaysafety.com.au.
Welcome to the Mackay Safety Our Clients podcast, brought to you by 4PS Software and the Bullion Group. I'm your host, Kieran Moran. The Mackay Safety Our Clients podcast is designed to assist businesses become safe, as we believe safety forms a foundation for a successful and accountable business. Mackay Safety's clients span all industries, including mining, construction, rail, ports and engineering, and range from small to medium enterprises to major multinational corporations. It's our goal for these podcasts to not only assist you with implementing safety systems and procedures, but through listening to our clients' stories, understand the importance of safety within your own business and how you can make everyone involved, including you, your staff and your clients, safe. On this episode of the Mackay Safety Our Clients podcast, we have Shane Fidler, Director of Fidler Industrial. Established in 2005, Fidler Industrial specialise in industrial cleaning and service the mining sector throughout the Bowen Basin and Central Highlands. Specialising in industrial cleaning of draglines, shovels, excavators, drills and wash plants to name a few, Shane and his team provide their clients with the highest safety standards of industrial cleaning services and are constantly diversifying to meet industry needs. Welcome, Shane, to the podcast.
Thanks, Kieran. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. And I've got to say, when I did look a little bit of the background about the company, it looks like you might have come straight out of school, as we said there, 2005, so 16 years just about. Is that true, that you're straight out of school and into the business?
Not quite. So I left school 2001, worked in hospitality for a couple of years, and then got a crank as a TA in 2005 at the start in January. So I worked on a dragline build for 10 months, and then when that finished up, I sort of got the idea on that job about doing industrial cleaning. When I was on the TA job, one of my jobs was at the end was to go around and grease up all the rack segments and the pinions on the dragline. And the fitter come down and give me a hand, and I was getting it everywhere. And the fitter sort of pulled me up and said, "Hey, mate, you know, you're getting this stuff everywhere, and some poor bugger's got to come down here and clean this up with paint scrapers, and no one wants to do that sort of a job." And I thought to myself, well, if no one wants to do it, I'll do it. So when I finished that TA job, I rang around and got the idea to do some industrial cleaning on draglines, and got a crank and started from there. One day every 3 weeks is sort of how it panned about.
Well, I've got to say there that, as you said, you know, the other fella said to you, someone's got to come in and clean that, and no one wants to do that. But what inspired you to do that? I suppose you did look around and see if there's much competition, but I suppose you saw the market.
Yeah. Essentially, mate, that's right. Well, he said to me, I had no idea, mate. You know, I had 10 months as a TA in well, it wasn't even realistically mining, it was construction, I suppose. And then when he told me that no one wanted to do it, and I didn't think it was too bad of a job at all. So I said, I'll jump in and do that, mate. So if no one else wants to do it, I'll do it and see if I can build something out of it.
So how did you get started? How did you get the business started and looking into it and so forth? And what did you start off with and continue to what you moved into?
Well, mate, honestly, I just was cold calling people. I would search the phone number up for a mine site and I'd call them. I'd find out after a few phone calls, I sort of figured out who I need to ask to speak to. And when from there, I finally got a crank down at Collinsville. I was speaking to the dragline maintenance planner down there, and he told me that he's looking for some industrial cleaners, and pretty much he has one on next week. I said, it was probably a bit too soon for me to start. He said, well, we have one every 3 weeks. So a month from that phone call, he said, get yourself organised and come out and be ready and bring a friend. So I had a cousin who had his inductions and stuff already to go. So I pulled him in and said, hey, come give us a hand. Let's have a go at this. And he did. We started off with some buckets and paint scrapers. I borrowed a ute from my stepfather at the time and put a fire extinguisher and a flag and a revolving light on it, and away we went.
Well, that's not too bad jumping in. And at the same time, I suppose, how were you prepared? Because I would think that when you did turn up and then you started seeing the more and more sort of issues in relation to being able to clean a number of this equipment, that you had to sort of build up your equipment yourself.
We built it from the ground up. As time progressed, we needed more and more people. So, we put one person on and then two, and then, more people followed. And as we started getting a bit of a name and a reputation around the industry, we started getting different jobs, on the same gear, but requiring more equipment, So we had no equipment to start with. It was just manual labour. And then we saw a need, or were asked by the clients for water blasters. So we built a water blaster trailer over the years, and we got a couple more and a few more, and we transitioned them into trucks. And then recently, in the last couple of years, we've seen a need for industrial vacs. So we've got vac trucks.
Yeah, that is becoming a bit of a need these days. I've noticed a number of companies moving into the vac trucks and so forth, and hydro excavation. But just looking on sort of some of the CV that you have. So you specialise in industrial cleaning, and as you've mentioned, with the drag lines, your shovels, electric and hydraulic, evacuators, drills, haul trucks, graders, dozers, equipment cab detailing. What's one of the things that you actually, I suspect you enjoy a lot of it, but what's one of the things that you really sort of get into, one of the vehicles or so forth that you get into that you really enjoy cleaning? What's one of your favourite things?
Me personally, mate, when I was out on the tools, I'd enjoy the drag lines and the diggers. They were the two main jobs that I enjoyed doing. The drag line, just the sheer size of them, mate, is fascinating, and they've been around for a long, long time. The engineering that goes in and around them just appealed to me. They're like a big old dinosaur. So yeah, they were great to work on. Diggers, a bit more fast paced than the drag lines at some stage. You got a shorter window, so you just rip in, get the job done, and sort of head home. So they're not always a big shift, but you certainly get the enjoyment out of the satisfaction out of the end result, cleaning your digger.
So what does it take to clean a drag line?
All depending on what jobs you're on, mate, but usually you have a bulk lot of people. Between 6 and 10 people is usually a pretty good crew. And again, we just use muscle manpower. We're rolling around scraping grease. It's not the most desired job sometimes. It can get hot, and it is physical. It is not for everyone. However, people who do get into it can sort of enjoy it.
So you've managed to build the business up over the years, and you obviously have a number. How many people do you have working for you at the moment?
We sit between 20 and 25 people. It sort of is enough for me to handle.
And so how did you, I know it might be a few years ago, but building up from a small business and, that's not a bad amount of people to have working for you, and you're still a small business, but at the same time, you're not extremely small. How did you find being able to build that business up to what it is today? What did you have to learn to be able to do that?
Oh, I'm always learning, mate. It's always a learning curve. There's something new every day. I suppose at the start, I really had no idea. I was, I had a job basically that I got a good reputation in, and I sort of had to learn on the run, So it's great out in the industry. There was a lot of people who sort of helped me on the way. I was 21 when I started, and you build these relationships with clients and people out in the industry, and you just learn from them. It's always learning. You're still learning. I'm still learning today. There's always new things coming across out in the industry that you got to get your head around, and that's where safety comes into it a bit, and that's where Mick and his team at Kai Safety have really helped me over the last 4 or 5 years. We've been dealing with each other.
And I've got to say, 2005 or so, when you started the business, it was coming into the boom period of mining infrastructure in a way.
It was, and that's what really helped me grow. I believe that I was doing a good job at a good price. I was probably a bit naive at the time too. Everyone was boosting up their pricing with the coal boom, and I just sort of kept mine the same and done a good job at a good price, and that allowed me to grow. And then the boom sort of fell away, and I kept going. I think people remember that throughout those times when things were good and I didn't go too crazy, just kept it pretty level. And then when the bad times, the same deal, they sort of remembered that. And then I grew, while some businesses were shutting down, I was buying equipment and growing, expanding.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Look after your clients as well. When you do go through those periods, we have seen that, of course, through a lot of the booms, LNG booms and so forth, of when companies up their prices, but it always comes back to where it was eventually. And if you've managed to upset some of your clients, they're not going to come back. So well done on that one. Just give us a bit of understanding in relation to what have you seen with the industry and how it's changed from that time. I'll suspect, a number of things within the procedures that you have and the cleaning and so forth have changed quite a lot, and the demands of mining companies. What have you seen changed in that period?
Oh, certainly. Like I said earlier on at the start, I borrowed a ute. It wasn't even white, so it was silver. All I had to do was put a fire extinguisher, a flag, and a plug-in flashing light on the top, and away I went. So I rolled around in that for probably 2 years, and then it got a bit harder. We had to start having a bit more safety focused on light vehicles. I think there might have been a couple of accidents around at the time, so our clients started introducing rollover protection and highlights and different safety aspects in regards to equipment. So we had to comply. So then we had to go and rent. I actually rent one, couldn't afford to buy one. So I rent one from a car yard and use that one, which was compliant. And away we went from there. Not only that, a lot of things now being a contractor have changed. We've got throughout the industry, there's a lot of more processes involved. The CMS registers and that sort of stuff with the safety. So that's, beforehand, that was never something we had to comply with or never have to do. And that's a big process and involved compliancy on site.
So, okay, then, as you said in there, so, a lot of things have changed, and one of those is safety and compliance and so forth. And that does lead us on to Mackay Safety in a way, and the services that you do use with them. How did they assist you in getting this up, especially like with compliance in and so forth?
Compliancy is huge, and small businesses, it's hard. Everyone tries to do the right thing, I believe. Everyone wants to be compliant, but there's a big step in wanting to be compliant and actually being compliant. So Mackay Safety, I've been dealing with Mick and his team for quite a number of years now, and they've really helped me out along the way and over the years with compliance. So it was probably something that a lot of small contracting businesses never put to the forefront, and now our clients, the top tier clients, are sort of putting a big push, or they have done for years now, putting a big push on compliance throughout our industry. So that led me to Mick's door. Really, I was putting a tender through, and I realised when I was reading through the tender process that I was way out in touch with what's going on in the industry, and I wasn't compliant. So, and I went around and had a chat with Mick, and he helped me through the whole process, put all the plans in place for F&H, which is now Fidler Industrial, and really picked me up into the next level, I suppose, and into the way we do things now.
Okay, in relation to compliance and so forth, and being ready for those mines, because they do ask for a lot more, and as you said, they have been for a long time now. What are some of the procedures or so forth that 4PS did help you with, which is Mackay Safety with the 4PS software? But how did they actually assist you in being able to, I suppose with that tender itself, assist you there and make that happen, but also with your understanding of what you need to do, not only for your clients, but also for your people that work for you?
But basically, Mick and his team have given me my whole health and safety management system, which has in turn brought me up to compliancy for my clients, and has also, on that particular occasion, got me over the line with our tender.
And how important is that to you? Of course, it helps you now get that work, and it also helps you grow your business.
It does, and it's also a requirement, so it's something that I should have had in place before with Mick, but again, that's the beauty of Mick and his team. They sort of bring to light what holes are missing in your company, in your business, and they're there to provide support and help you and bring you up to spec.
Do you also use 4PS in understanding where your people are and how safe your people are working?
Yeah, that's another big one. It brings up that, again, compliance list. So making sure that our staff are trained and qualified, and the 4PS system is just, makes it a lot easier to be able to do, with running, giving you prompts and emails and updates saying, this training has run out or this license is about to expire. It makes it a lot easier being a contractor if you have a few staff on to be able to keep on top of that and manage that.
I also noticed that you're also using Mackay Safety member services as well, which gives you a number of advantages and alerts and so forth every week and every month in a way. How does being a member of the services assist?
Oh, mate, that is invaluable to me as a business owner. They're always there on hand for support. When safety and compliance is a world on its own, and it's great having Mick and his team there to back you and to lend an ear and just support you through it. So anything that I sort of don't get my head around, I give Mick a call. We have a bit of a chat about it, or we catch up and go through it, and then he can sort of explain it to me and assist me in the processes of getting what's required done. So it's been great.
So where to next with the business? Of course, where it is changing a lot. There's issues, of course, where a lot more negativity in relation to especially the coal market and so forth. How are you planning to diversify your business?
Good question. Listen, I think we roll with the punches and we'll, try and address the situation as and when it arises. We're moving into a new place in the Paget, which will provide, a better setup for Fidler Industrial, and will probably allow us better to move into the future with the way the world's going, with the way the industry will go. So it'll be a great step for us in moving forward.
And what about in relation to, so of course they're talking about hydrogen, renewables industries, things are growing. Of course the Mackay region is a major met sector for Queensland, if not Australia. Sorry, Western Australia's there again. But to the point of, are you planning to look into some of those markets? Because I would expect that they can put you just about anywhere really.
That's something we'll probably look at in the future. Right now we're still concentrating on what's in front of us. But yeah, there's certainly provisions there that will allow us to expand and move down that track as and when the need requires.
Okay, well, believe it or not, we're at the end of the podcast. So thank you very much for joining us, Shane. Much appreciated.
No worries. Thanks very much, Kieran. Appreciate it. It was good.
You've been listening to the Mackay Safety Our Clients podcast, brought to you by 4PS Software and the Bullion Group. To find out more, including how Mackay Safety can assist you with implementing work health and safety initiatives within your business, go to mackaysafety.com.au.